47 banana flow pass with chestnut 9-5 D-stroke and swinger of D-corner on 3.
That's the way to run, easy boy! It's the way to run! Gotta have more conviction than that! First down by 2 feet. 2 feet. He's got it easy. He's got it easy. I can see. Get him, Danny. Beat that rookie. Let's go, Saints!
Wide to the left. Gilliam in the slot to the left. First and goal from the 7th. And rolls to the right. Dumps it out. Good touchdown!
Good evening and welcome. Tonight we bring you something very special, the NFC Championship game.
Right you are, Nicky. A championship in the NFL is indeed very special. The pregame tension in the dressing room is incredible, and once that game begins, the physical contact takes on an intensity and an abandonment of an all-out war.
But just before that, let's get up to date with the results from last weekend. We know that the Jets and the Redskins are through. Let's see who they meet.
Green Bay 26, Dallas Cowboys 37.
This result does upset me. I must admit I like the Packers. Sorry, Dallas fans. Still, they put up a good fight.
That was the Packers' reverse play to Lofton that we've seen so often before. And once James gets going, there's no stopping him. 9-3 for 100-yard speed takes him into the end zone.
However, the Cowboys came up with some big plays of their own.
This time it was Danny White's lateral pass to Drew Pearson, who in turn threw to Tony Hill to set up the game-clinching touchdown.
And that answers one of our viewers' questions. They can obviously pass as often as they want.
Well, they can pass laterally as many times as they like, but only one forward pass is allowed per play. But as you can see, it doesn't have to be the quarterback who makes it.
So that means that our game today is the red-hot Washington Redskins against the seasoned pros, the Dallas Cowboys.
The Jets' opponents in the AFC Championship was decided in Miami when the Dolphins beat the San Diego Chargers 34-13.
Miami gained revenge for last year's defeat by the Chargers in the equivalent game and established themselves as serious contenders.
Third-year Miami quarterback David Woodley came of age with 2 touchdown passes and a rush for a third, completely eclipsing the aerial attack of Dan Fouts and the Chargers.
And talking of San Diego, thank you Di and Darren Rogers of Sutton in Surrey, who wrote to us with a set of fiendish riddles. For example, they described the Chargers as the plastic card bunch. Get it? Chargers, plastic card bunch? Well, from the cryptic clues, we have to guess the name of the team. So, Miles, you're an ex-headmaster. What teams could also be called helpers to relocate,
Right.
army insects, and lubricants? That's helpers to relocate, army insects, and lubricants.
Well, Darren, that is indeed fiendish, but I'm going to put my considerable intellect to work, and I'm going to come up with those answers.
We'll see how well you do. Please don't ring, and if Miles doesn't get the answers, which is quite likely, I'll give them to you at the end of the show. Well, now back to tonight's game of Cowboys and Indians. The Redskins have at least one advantage. They're playing on their own reservation.
The Cowboys, however, ride into town with all guns blazing. They are the only team to have defeated the Redskins this year. The score, 24-10, and that was also at Washington's RFK Stadium.
In fact, Dallas have won their last 6 games against Washington, but Dallas have a relatively poor big game record. They've lost this conference championship game in each of the last 2 seasons. But this isn't only a game between 2 teams. It's a contest between 2 men. The veteran coach, Tom Landry, who at 56 has been with Dallas since their formation in 1960.
And on the other side, Joe Gibbs. That's him in the center with the glasses. He had a disastrous start to his career.
Game record. They've lost this conference championship game in each of the last 2 seasons. But this isn't only a game between 2 teams. It's a contest between 2 men. The veteran coach, Tom Landry, who at 56 has been with Dallas since their formation in 1960.
And on the other side, Joe Gibbs. That's him in the center with the glasses. He had a disastrous start to his career at Washington, 5 out of 5 losses. Now in his 2nd season, all has come right, and he is currently the coach of the year.
So the stage is set. The house is full. Let the show begin. Our CBS commentators are John Madden and Pat Summerall.
Dallas has won the toss, and they will receive. Jeff Hayes will kick off for the Washington Redskins. Back deep for Dallas will be Timmy Newsom and Rod Hill. Ready to go for the NFC Championship and the right to go to Pasadena for the Super Bowl next week. Hayes hits a good one. This will be Hill at the 1-yard line. Redskins special teams have done a great job, and they do it again. Otis Wonsley is the man to watch. Drew Pearson split out wide to the right. Dorsett and Springs, the running backs. Dorsett goes back deep. Dorsett will carry first. Dorsett outside the 15 to about the 18. Mel Kaufman made the initial contact. It'll be 2nd and 7. This crowd has been wild for about an hour. Crosby moves in motion. White will throw, and does. Drew Pearson, he has it, and it's a catch. First down, Dallas. Outside the 25 to about the 26. Drew Pearson has always had big days against the Redskins.
You know what the Cowboys do here? They change strength. They take Doug Crosby's on the right. He goes in motion to the left. That changes the strength of the formation. Then they come back here, and they throw to Drew Pearson, weak side.
From the Dallas 26, 2 tight ends. Crosby's on the right, Dupree's on the left. This is Ron Springs. Same type of play he broke for a touchdown against Washington the first time they played. Vernon Dean tripped him up. 12 yards for Springs and another Dallas first down.
You know, Ron Springs didn't play last week. He's had a bad knee, an injured knee, and there was talk all week whether he'd be able to play or not. He tried it in a pregame warm-up. He felt pretty good. You see what happens in the I formation? Everyone is keying Tony Dorsett. They put him to the outside, and that widens those linebackers, and then boom, they just pop Ron Springs right up the middle.
This 30-second clock is not functioning at the moment, so we'll just have to guess if it's kept on the field as well. Dorsett breaks one tackle, slides outside the 40 to about the 42. Mark Murphy, the Redskins' leading tackler, brought him down.
I think Matt Mendenhall, the left defensive end of the Redskins, was surprised when he saw, what do I have here in my hands? Well, it was Dorsett. He went right through him.
For a moment at least. 3 yards for Tony D, and it'll be 2nd and 7.
Mendenhall has too much stuff in his hands and arms. You couldn't feel him. Look at all that stuff.
Can't hold anybody. Dorsett the lone setback this time. Right to throw. Tony Hill slips by one, gets another Dallas first down into Redskin territory to the 47. 13-yard pickup. Neil Olkowitz finally on the stop.
There's Joe Theismann on the sideline. He's waiting for his turn while Danny White's doing a pretty good job.
Miles, something I've always wondered, why do they have those black lines there under their eyes?
It's grease paint, and it's put on the cheekbones to stop the reflection of light going to the eyes.
White to throw. Redskins on an outside blitz. White throws quickly. Drew Pearson. Have to wait and see if he got him down. Yes, he did. It's a catch. Jarris White, the defender, 14-yard gain. White to Pearson.
We had good sound effects there. We had a thump right there at the end. Let's watch it. He's on Jarris White here. Drew Pearson. See, White is playing an inside technique, so he takes him to the inside, holds him, and then runs that out pattern on him. So Pearson caught the ball, knocked the official down, and ran into the sound man.
And if they keep playing with White in that position, that pass is going to be there all day with that inside position like that. Ball's at the Redskin 29. Springs and Dorsett still the runners. Dorsett. Not much this time, although it looked like he slid away from a couple of tacklers. Mendenhall again.
I'll tell you, the guy that does a job on this is Tony Peters. Watch him here, 23, the strong safety. He has to fill or force, they call this. Now watch, he comes up, takes on that guard. See, and that's what caused the haul. When he took on that block there, he hit a guard plus Drew Pearson and stopped the haul. Made a wall.
And cut that play off to just 2 yards. 2 tight ends set up again for Dallas. Springs is out. 2nd and 8. Dorsett looking for some room again. To the left side this time. Squirts down to about the 22. Olkowitz makes a stop. And you look at Tom Landry's new coat. He's
belt's not straight there on that left side. I bet he doesn't know that.
That's not like him.
He's not worried about that. He's worried about calling some good plays. We see him sending one in here with Ron Springs.
It'll be 3rd and 3. From the 23. That should be Cosby, and it should be enough for a Dallas first down at the 15. Cosby went to his knees, but nevertheless came up with a completion.
You know, at 6'6", is what Doug Cosby is. You can go to your knees, and you're still 5'10" or so. So you're still a good sight. Watch him now. He's the end man here, number 84. He starts to the inside, works outside. It's just a little hook. See, he goes down to his knees, and he's still about 5'10". That's the advantage of having a big tight end. You can always find him in a crowd.
Cosby is really coming to his own. He's had a good playoff series so far. They go with 2 tight ends again. They hand off to Springs and nothing doing. They try to run that sucker play again, but Dexter Manley was right there. It'll be 2nd and 10 as you look at what that Washington defense has accomplished. In terms of points allowed, they are the best in the NFL. 2nd and 10, no gain for Springs on that last play. Line of scrimmage, the Washington 15. On the draw play, Tony Dorsett around the corner. Down to the 5, fumble, and Dallas gets it back. Rafferty, I believe, is out to make the recovery. No, it's Doug Cosby, 84.
Well, I'll tell you, that was a lucky break for the Cowboys because you really shouldn't have anyone in position to fumble. Now watch this, just one back in the backfield. It's a little trap play. Dorsett makes 2 good cuts. Now watch here as he's turning, he feels the end zone. And watch right here, the ball pops out. The tackler put his helmet right on the ball. The Cowboys were lucky that Cosby was in position to recover this fumble.
You recall this happened twice in the first game here when they beat the Redskins. They fumbled twice and got it back both times. In key situations. It's 3rd and 5, another key situation. Redskins showing blitz. Quickly intended for Drew Pearson, knocked down by Vernon Dean, and the Cowboys will have to settle for an effort by Septien. This is 3 weeks in a row they've gotten down early and couldn't get it in.
Well, they had to blitz, a big passing down. Watch this, we see the blitz. Both the safeties, weak safety, strong safety. Cowboys do a good job of picking up the blitz, but Vernon Dean does a good job right there at covering Drew Pearson. Vernon Dean, a rookie, they wanted to work on him. You have to throw that ball in there. That ball has to be zipped a little more when you get that close to the goal line.
From 28 yards out with Glenn Carano holding, Raphael Septien really in a groove. He's hit 14 in a row in playoff action. Make that 15, and the Cowboys put some numbers on the board first. They lead 3-0. Theismann to throw. First down throw. Theismann chased. Gets away from a couple of Cowboys. Still on his feet. Ed Jones in his face. Pass complete. Don Warren comes up with a completion. 15-yard gain.
I want to tell you what made this play. Watch the left side of the line. Joe Jacoby fires out on Harvey Martin. Russ Grimm fires out on Randy White, and they knock them both down. So Theismann can get out to the left, finds time to get his receiver. Let's see if we can see that. Those Hogs did the job on this play. Watch this left here. Here's big 66, Joe Jacoby, 295 pounds. He knocked Harvey Martin right down. And now Theismann can get outside.
Boy, it's rare when you see both of them get knocked down.
The whole right side was knocked down.
Rivers coming. Now it's Guy Brown who read it pretty well. This is Theismann out trying to block. Alvin Garrett was the ball carrier. Good play by Guy Brown to tie things up before it got underway.
You know, last week we saw both of these teams open up, the Cowboys and the Packers, and I think we're going to see the same thing today. Hand to Riggins, hand back coming out here. We see right there, Guy Brown is right there. He just overextended, fell down. But then the pursuit of the Cowboys was able to get there. You see that block, though? That was Joe Theismann. Quarterback lead.
Blocked on Benny Barnes and cut him down. Second down and 12. Redskins at the Dallas 47. Heisman back to throw again. Good protection again. Pass complete again. Alvin Garrett, the receiver, about 9, about a yard short of the first. Dennis Thurman on the stop. Give them 11. They had second and 12, and they're just a little bit short.
I'll tell you, Joe Jacoby, the left tackle, watch this. He's blocking against Harvey Martin here, the left tackle of Redskins, 66. You see, he can use his hands right there. See, he gets him, keeps Harvey off, keeps him on the line of scrimmage. By the time he gets going, then it's too late. Now, that guy looks like a lineman. He looks like a Joe Jacoby.
And he is 6'7" and 295. Otis Wonsley in the game now with Riggins. 3rd and 1. Riggins has it and more, much more. Riggins trying to get around the corner. They finally get him out of bounds inside the 20. Michael Downs finally took him out of bounds. 17 yards for John Riggins.
I'll tell you, they're working their left side. They're working the right side of the Cowboy defense. They're running right at that left side. Now watch it here. John Riggins starts out to the left. Watch it right here. He starts inside. He has a good lead block right there. Bounces off it and turns right up the sideline. I tell you, the Redskins wanted to establish a run, but to be able to do that, you have to be successful when you run. And if they're going to be successful, this guy has to carry the ball 25 times today.
Averaging 8 yards a carry so far, and they'll accept that. On a quick count, Theismann looking down the middle. Has a receiver, touchdown Redskins. Charlie Brown in front of Everson Walls. Makes it 7-3. Let's see if it was Everson Walls.
Looked like Dennis Thurman. We'll see it here from ground level. Again, the Cowboys haven't gone to the blitz yet, and the Redskins are doing a good job of pass protecting. And we'll see they had get Charlie Brown out there, and it was on Dennis Thurman. He runs a post. Let's watch some more blocking here. Let's watch Joe Jacoby again here. Harvey Martin takes an inside move, beats him this time, but there's the center, number 53, Jeff Bostic, right there waiting for him.
Good-looking drive by both teams. Dallas got a field goal. The Redskins got a touchdown, and they lead 7-3. Second and 8, and Riggins again the lone setback. It's Don Warren in motion, and Theismann backtracking. Cowboys try to rush. Incomplete. It was Dennis Thurman back with Charlie Brown. There was a little contact, but I think it came after the ball went by.
That was an incomplete pass, but I'll tell you one thing that the Redskins are doing well. They are picking up the blitzes of the Cowboys. The Cowboys blitzed that time. Theismann had good protection, good time. He just didn't complete the pass. But I said before the game, and I still feel that that's a big part of this game. Let's watch the blitz here. The two outside linebackers will be coming. We see a stunt in the middle. They picked it up nicely. They picked up the outside linebackers. Theismann did have time.
Washington has replaced Riggins. Yaquinto goes in motion. 3rd and 8. Theismann outside quickly. Bad throw. Alvin Garrett had a step on Everson Walls, but the ball slipped out of Theismann's hand.
I think that was a double slip, Pat. I think the ball slipped out of his hands, and I think Garrett slipped on his cut. Let's watch number 72, Too Tall Jones. He's working against Stark there, just runs right over him and gets his hands up. That's why the ball slipped out of Theismann's hand.
The old double slip.
The old double slip.
Jeff Hayes back to kick. He too has been inconsistent. The first Washington punt. Rod Hill back deep for Dallas. one he'll keep all day long. And a lot more like it. Fumble! Everson Walls is back on the ball in the end zone. Could be a touchdown. It could be. They'll rule that the impetus is back up at the spot where the ball was fielded, and that's what they'll say. Washington, nevertheless, will have the ball. Monty Coleman made the hit that caused it.
That's going to be the muff rule.
Touched by the receiving team on the 11-yard line. Went into the end zone, recovered by the kicking team. By rule, the kicking team gets the ball on the 11-yard line. First.
Now let's watch it here. Now Rod Hill never had possession of the ball, and that's why it's here in 11. You see, he catches it right there, bobbles it. Now it goes into the end zone. Had he had possession and fumbled it, this would have been a Redskin touchdown because they recovered it in the end zone. The distinction is Rod Hill never had possession. That's why it's on the 11.
1st and 10 from that point, and Joe Theismann asking for quiet. On 1st down, let's see if he goes right to work. He goes to Riggins, and Riggins does go right to work. Down to the 5. Benny Barnes tripped him up.
You know, we're talking about that zone blocking. What these Hogs do, these Redskin offensive linemen, they just get on the defensive lineman, make the defensive lineman go one way or the other, and then Riggins picks it. Now watch it. Watch the right side of your screen here. You see the Hogs start to have a little cross block there, and then Riggins just hits that hole. He can find the hole anywhere inside.
2nd and 5. Riggins again to the outside. Riggins to the 3, perhaps. Benny Barnes tackled him there. Just outside the 3. It'll be 3rd down.
There's Joe Gibbs. He's talking to his offensive coordinator, Dan Henning, and they're sending in a play.
3:39 left to play in the first half. 3rd and 2. Washington is the lone setback. The pitch out is to Washington. Joe Washington doesn't get in. He hurdles down and is knocked back. The Redskin players indicating touchdown, but no signal from the officials. Monty Hunter made the hit.
This is going to be an interesting call here. It's 4th down. Now the Redskins could go for the field goal, but they're not. They're going to go for the touchdown on 4th down with a lead of 7-3.
Back in comes Riggins. That is not a touchdown, but it's a first down.
Oh, it was a first down, so then they don't have to go on 4th. Now what they did, they took Riggins out. They wanted the Cowboys to play pass and think pass, which they did, and then they gave that little flip to Joe Washington. Didn't get the touchdown, but he did get the first down.
That dive by Washington got him that first down. Now it's Riggins and Wansley, and it's Riggins for the touchdown. Washington has their own JR, John Riggins. Mark Mosley's extra point is good, and the Redskins move further in front.
Let's watch it. They've really been working the left side of their offense. Good job here. They get a good lead block by Wansley, and once Riggins gets his shoulder square and smells that end zone, he's going to get it in. He will not be denied. Watch it from here. Now watch the left side. They knocked the Cowboy defense back into the end zone. They won the war in the pits right down there. Watch this blocking. You see, they get that Cowboy defense going back. Riggins gets things going forward and just dives in.
Great block by Jacoby. Cleared it out. 14-3. Tony Hill comes out wide to the right. Pearson and Johnson wide to the left. Down and down hard. Dexter Manley was the man who hit him, and White is still down and hurting.
didn't handle this blitz. They start the linebacker from the outside. The two ends are looping to the inside. No one picks up Dexter Manley, and he's right on Danny White before he can set up. Let's watch Dexter Manley. See, he takes an inside move there. The tackle comes to the outside. Manley goes to the inside and right up the middle and smothered Danny White.
Gary Hogaboom would be the replacement, and there he is warming up on the sideline. From the looks of Danny White, we might have to have our first playoff look at Gary Hogaboom. White is hurt. White is still on the field. Now he's off.
I'll tell you, he is a tough guy, but he really took a shot on this play. Let's watch it one more time. We see Dexter Manley coming on a stunt right up the middle. White starts to throw, brings the ball back down. You know, that wasn't a pass either. He started to throw, brought it back down. That was more of a fumble than a pass.
It was ruled that his arm had started forward. It seems to be an injury to his right shoulder. Gary Hogaboom then is the quarterback. He is 6'3", 6'4", 199 from Central Michigan. In his third year with the Cowboys. Hogaboom has Timmy Newsome and has the pass complete down to the Redskin 24. They're going to have to hurry if it's going to be a field goal.
They're going to have to run their field goal team out in the field and get it off within 2 seconds. Nope, they can't do it.
Nothing doing. No timeouts left, and they couldn't get lined up in time. Septien was out and then went back off. At the half, it's Washington 14. Dallas Cowboys 3, and this is a fired-up bunch of Redskins. It ought to be a great second half.
I can't wait. Now, they've been mentioning stunting. What's that all about?
Well, let's watch the replay. Number 78 and 72 White, instead of charging straight across the line of scrimmage, they've looped around and they've created this gap. And that's how they're going to get Danny White. That's stunting.
And for the Cowboys, a most unfortunate stunt. He is not a well man.
There's Danny White. No, he's not coming back.
You can tell the look in the face and no helmet in the hand. He's not going to come back on this series anyway.
You can see the emotion and the pain dripping out of Danny White's eyes. Gary Hogaboom is the quarterback. Going right to work. Hogaboom has a man. Tony Hill. First down at the Washington 22. Mark Murphy made the stop after a 17-yard pickup.
You know, one thing about Gary Hogaboom, he has the strongest arm of all the Dallas Cowboy quarterbacks. I remember when we were there in training camp this summer and watching him, he really throws ropes.
He's got a very quick release. They say, the people who've watched him closely, that he has the quickest release of anyone since Joe Namath.
That is a quick release.
Yes. Hogaboom going deep for Cosby. Cosby turned the wrong way. He was open. He had a step. There's Danny White again.
I think that reaction is more of being out of the game, Pat, than the pain. That's a tough break for the Cowboys and Danny White.
They can give you something for the pain.
You know, Doug Cosby, that was a perfect coverage. Doug Cosby was man-to-man against Mel Kaufman. He had a step on him. Hogaboom just didn't get it to him.
Hogaboom 2 out of 3. Dorsett and Timmy Newsome now the two setbacks. Hogaboom to throw under fire. Gets the screen pass away to Newsome, but Redskins' Neil Olkowitz read it perfectly and was there quickly. Hogaboom might have drilled that one in there.
He almost hit his left tackle, Pat Donovan.
Barry Brooks again with a good pressure.
See it, watch, it's a screen pass. Now watch his left tackle, Donovan's out there, and he throws it right past Donovan's ear into Newsome.
Olkowitz out there in good shape.
Didn't fool the Redskins.
Not at all. Third down, 11. Butch Johnson is split to the right along with Drew Pearson. Tony Hill's out to the other side. The Redskins showing blitz, and they ought to be coming, and they are. Hogaboom in the pocket, throws outside. Butch Johnson has it out of bounds. First down, Jarris White on the coverage. 15-yard pickup, a good throw from Hogaboom.
Let's watch this from the shotgun again. It's a tough situation. the blitz, the stunt. He has time. They pick him up, and he gets the ball out here to Butch Johnson for a first down.
John, I'll bet you there's not a Redskin fan anywhere who doesn't think back a few years to Washington, to Texas Stadium, Roger Staubach being hurt, and a guy named Clint Longley coming in the game.
That's right. I tell you, George Allen's a guy that's never forgotten that one. To this day, George Allen talks about Clint
Pitch back,
Longley.
Dorsett cuts back to about the 6-yard line.
You know, it's really tough for a backup quarterback to come in a game, in a regular game, and then you make it a playoff game, and that would be tougher. You make it a championship game, that has to be one of the most difficult things they have to do, especially when you're behind 14-3. They were ahead. They could go to a lot of that running game and ball control, but Hogeboom has to come in and score points.
That was John Makovic talking to Landry. I mentioned before his name has been in the papers. He's been rumored to be the leading candidate for the coaching job in Kansas City. 2nd and 6. Hogeboom to throw. Blitz is on. Drew Pearson, touchdown. He broke the plane, I guess.
Gardner broke the ball when he spiked it. That's a good start for a young quarterback.
That'll make him feel a lot more confident. Let's look at it.
Drew Pearson starts in motion, and then he goes back. Now watch Hogeboom. He's watching to the right. He's looking all the way. Good quick release, as you said. He gets the ball out here to Drew Pearson. All he has to do to score a touchdown is the ball break the plane. I don't know if it did.
That's going in. Raphael Septien with Glenn Carano to hold. 14-9 at the moment. Taking a lot of time. It's good. Looked out of sync the whole thing, but it was good. See what Hogeboom did after he fired his first touchdown pass.
Well, when you throw it, your first touchdown, and then you throw it, in a championship game, you took a sack. You probably didn't even know. When you have Dave Butch, you can't even see if you got it.
When you have Dave Butts on top of you, you can't even see daylight. It is 14-10 with 11:29 left in the 3rd quarter. The word we have just gotten from Irv Cross, who's been over by the Cowboy bench, is not necessarily from Danny White, but from the Dallas medical staff, that his eyes are clear. He must have then just been stunned, and they say there is a possibility that he could come back and play. Septien's kick goes to Nelms. Nelms will start from the Redskin 4-yard line. Nelms has got some room. He's got only Septien. Now he's got somebody else chasing him. Nelms finally taken to the ground by Dennis Thurman. Mike Nelms, 76-yard kickoff return.
Side. Good blocking up there in front. Septien was the last guy. They get him. Now it's a foot race. Mike Nelms and Dennis Thurman tries to get him a little move. Thurman gets him. Great return.
All the way down to the Dallas 20. Redskin first down they give to Riggins, and Riggins is wrapped up after a yard. And now he's hurled back. John Dutton led the Dallas defense. Here is Nelms. Rid of the mouthpiece and a happy fellow at the moment.
Hey, we were talking about special teams as being a big part of this game. A lot of times you always think of the offense against the defense and the matchups, but sometimes those special teams that'll win a game for you.
They recovered the one fumble that led to their second touchdown, the Redskins. That did. They got it at the 11-yard line. It's 2nd and 9, and Theismann probably will have to put it up. Walker in motion. Theismann goes back. All over him is Hegman, and now here comes Anthony Dickerson from the other side. Second sack.
We see the blitz. We see the middle linebacker coming, the outside linebacker coming. They're bringing two. Hegman really makes a nice move on John Riggins. You see, Riggins was there, had good position on him. and Hegman gives him a move. Watch from the left-hand side of your screen here. Riggins 44, so he went to the outside, gave him a little arm slip, and went underneath.
We see that leap by Dickerson at the end of it. 3rd and 18. DeQuinto in motion. Dallas blitzing again. Clinkscale is chasing Theisling. Throws. Got a man. That'll be enough for a first down to Charlie Brown. Inside the 10 to the 7. Emerson Walls. Brown on the end of a 22-yard pickup.
Is coming from Theismann's left. He feels it there. He starts out to the right. He has a center out there in front of him. Organized scramble, and he's able to find Charlie Brown downfield. You see, he invites that blitz, and he pulls the center out to the right, follows him in organized scramble, and he was able to get the big first down.
1st and goal. The ball almost at the 6-yard line. Walker again in motion. Riggins plows inside the 5 to about the 3. Bob Brunig on the bottom of the stack. Redskins 14, Cowboys 10. 2nd and about 4.
This is where you test your hogs down here. And you get in there, and this is a battle of the trenches, a lineman against the lineman. It's whoever controls this line of scrimmage. Last time they were down there, the Redskins controlled it. They knocked the Cowboys back. This is where linemen come into big play.
They have Wansley and Riggins now as the 2 runners. The give is to Riggins, and Riggins barrels into the end zone. The extra point is down the heart. And it's the Redskins 21, the Cowboys 10.
I'll tell you, they're going right at the Cowboys' strength. Right at Randy White, John Dutton, Bob Brunig. You see here, right here, watch as Riggins goes through. He just runs right over the middle linebacker, Bob Brunig. Watch Brunig here, number 53. He reads it, he sees it, takes on the guard, takes on Riggins. Riggins says, I'm having none of that. Boom! Right into the end zone. The Redskins won that battle.
Not to be denied, John Riggins just barreled his way Boom. Tony Hill will have another Cowboy first down to the Washington 30. Mark Murphy, the tackler, but a 12-yard gain. Hogaboom is impressive.
You know, he is impressive. It's the thing you talked about, his quick release. Here we're seeing Tony Hill out here. He has to sell Dean that he's going up. Did you see what he did? He got Dean turned around, thinking deep, thinking up, thinking post. Then he just stopped and came back on that hook. You have to sell him deep. Sell him deep to run a hook.
Hill's caught 49 yards. Getting the play. Getting some help from Landry for the next one. Hogaboom drops the throw again. Going deep for Drew Pearson. Knocked away at the last minute by Jarris White. That even looked like the play that Longley threw to Pearson years ago.
The only difference was the one that Longley threw was against a double team. That one was against a triple team. Watch, it's coming right at us. Here's Pearson. Now he has a defensive back on one side, a defensive back on the other side. That's Jarris White there. And then yet one more defensive back here in the end zone.
So it'll be 2nd and 10 from the Washington 31. Clock stopped with 5:08 left, 3rd quarter. This is the 10th play of this drive that started back at the 16. Hogeboom throws. Intended for Cosby. Knocked away at the last second by Tony Peters. And it'll be 3rd and 10.
That Tony Peters is all over the field. We've seen him on the line of scrimmage making tackles against the run. We saw him there against Doug Cosby, and in the play before that, he was one of the 3 defensive backs in the end zone. Let's check in on the line down here and see what's going on there in the pitch. You see a little stunt, good blocking there, good hands that keep butts right on the line of scrimmage. Big center, big Tom Rafferty in there in the middle. Solid middle, like a rock.
Hogeboom out of the shotgun. They show a safety blitz. Hogeboom hits Tony Hill. Just at the markers. It might be enough for a first down. Hogeboom out with Hill. It is a first down.
You talked earlier about his release. Let's watch this from the shotgun. Now watch how quickly, from the time he decides he's going to throw, boom. You know, that's what a quick release is. From the times the eyes see a guy open and decide on who they're going to throw to, that the ball leaves the hand.
Gary Hogeboom is playing very well from the shotgun. Here he's in a normal formation. But to remind you, the shotgun is when the quarterback takes the snap from the center 5 to 7 yards behind the line of scrimmage.
Dorsett gets down for about 3 to the 17. Dave Butts got a hand on him and tripped him up.
Everyone said that if Gary Hogeboom ever got his chance, he would do it. Well, today's his chance, and as
He
far
is
as
doing it. Time remaining 3rd quarter. Hogeboom again is from Central Michigan, 6'4" and 200. They'll break it out on the 13th play of this drive, which started back deep in Dallas territory. It'll be 2nd and 7. Hogeboom looking around behind him quickly, throws back to Timmy Newsom. This is Tony Hill. Nothing doing for Tony Hill. They wrapped this one up. That didn't surprise anybody. Darrell Grant was out there quickly. There's the committee meeting.
The tricks didn't work this time. Look at the flip to Newsom. Gets the defense going that way. Now watch, they all see it, and now they start running back. There's Grant. He just jumped over Cosby, came right down the line. Peters up there again to the outside. There's Jarris White, bunch of white jerseys. Fooled him for a little while, but not long enough.
Mark Murphy back there quickly, too. It'll be 3rd and 13 as they lost yardage. Now we'll see if he can stay perfect out of the shotgun. Got a blitz going. Hogeboom for Johnson. Touchdown, a penalty marker down. Penalty flag in the end zone. Johnson going with the California Quake. Hogeboom had the ball right there. But keep in mind, there's a flag down. It's against the Redskins.
Illegal contact, number 45, defense, penalty decline, touchdown.
This is going to be some 4th quarter coming up.
Which Johnson's still celebrating. Hogeboom is perfect. Hogeboom is perfect from the shotgun today. Watch that ball coming right at you. I got it. I got my guy beat. Just stretch out. Touchdown.
Hogeboom is perfect, as you said. Johnson is down in the gravel.
Up against the fence. Can't go any deeper than that.
3:25 left to play, 3rd quarter. It's 21-17 Washington, as Septien is good. 84 yards in 14 plays. Does make you happy, doesn't it?
Hogeboom. See, he's smart. The first guy he jumps on is the guys that block for him. You don't go around doing that. Look at Butch Johnson, what he does. Look, he has a double.
Tom Landry says he thinks that dance that Butch does him more good than anybody else.
The Butch Johnson touchdown closed the gap to a 4-point lead for the Redskins. While we get a panoramic view of the White House, the 4th quarter sees Danny White back on his feet, warming up. How the Redskins are still on the warpath. Mark Mosley, the man with the golden toe, attempts a 29-yard field goal.
Going after it. This one he got. Up high and good and down the middle. And the Redskins move out in front by 7. Now it's Tom Landry who faces another difficult decision, I think. Who is his quarterback going to be? Mosley tells you he was successful. Mosley's 29-yard field goal puts the Redskins up by a touchdown, 24-17. You see the time of possession on the day. The Redskins have been able to take advantage of turnovers. Hayes chases Donnelly deep in the end zone, 2 yards deep, and here he comes out. Doug Donnelly gets out to the 20, and that's about it. And you see it'll still be Gary Hogaboom. Danny White warmed up for a while and then sat back down.
You know, the thing about this situation, you look at it, fourth quarter, 7 points separating the team. It's also the difference between going to the Super Bowl or not. One of these teams will be in Pasadena next week, and the other one will be spread around the country watching it on television.
And the financial considerations are substantial. If you go all the way, each man will get an extra $70,000. Hogaboom fakes, throws the screen, has it batted away and picked off in the air by Darrell Grant. Touchdown, Redskins. Grant was an offensive guard last year. Second-year man from Rice. Mosley's extra point is good. Let's look at it.
See, we'll see Grant. He starts up the middle. He's getting a push. That's going to be a screen pass. Now watch right here. It's Dexter Manley, not number 72. He comes in from the outside. He gets his hands up, taps the ball, and it goes right into Darrell Grant's hand.
This is Rich Malott.
They know how to celebrate. Listen to this crowd. Watch this play again, the touchdown. Now watch, we'll see number 77, Grant, how alert he is. He starts here, he feels screen, he starts down there. Manley jumps up, Manley tips the ball. He's the guy that made the play. Grant, who was playing screen, was right there. He caught it and got a defensive lineman dream and touchdown.
Joe Gibbs fighting his way through the crowd, and he's going to have a tough time getting there. Be a wild scene for a long time.
We're not real talented, we're not real great, but damn, we're the NFC champions, that's all that matters.
A modest Joe Theismann, but I think they played great. Well, now here's the latest betting from SL. The Redskins are evens, the Jets and the Dolphins are both at 5-2. In fact, the Dolphins have £20,000 riding on them, including one single bet of £4,000. Now, I'm sure you're wondering if you've won our competition. Well, we don't know yet because the AFC Championship game won't be decided until later tonight. But we will announce the result of that match and the name of our winner during the basketball program tomorrow night.
And that should be a good one. It's the ASDA Cup final between the Birmingham Bullets and the Solon Stars, live on Channel 4 tomorrow night at 8 o'clock.
By the way, you can see the highlights of tonight's AFC Championship game between the New York Jets and the Miami Dolphins on World of Sport on ITV at 2:55 on Saturday. And on Super Bowl weekend, we have two programs on American football. In this slot at 6 o'clock, I'll be looking back at the action this season and the two teams who will contest Super Bowl 17.
And lucky me, I'll be in Pasadena, California, looking forward to the big game and bringing you some of the flavor of being at the biggest sports show on earth.
And then next Sunday night, you can see the whole Super Bowl game, the championship of the world, live on Channel 4, beginning at 10:45.
So get in your six-packs and your popcorn. Don't forget to tell your boss you'll be late in the morning and join me in California.
And join John Smith of the New England Patriots and me here in our London studio for Super Bowl 17.
And we know from your letters that you're looking forward to it as much as we are.
Indeed we are. And just before we go, I'm sure you've been racking your brains about the puzzle. Okay, Miles, Who are the helpers to relocate? It's the Green Bay Packers. Who are the army insects?
It's
The New York GI ants. It's good, isn't he? And finally, who are the lubricants? The Houston Oilers.
Darren, you fiend.
Well done, Miles. So the Indians are victors, and for the Cowboys, the road to the Super Bowl ends. We say goodnight with an apt song, The Beach Boys and Long Promised Road.
Good night.
Good night.
So hard to answer future's riddle when ahead is seeming so far behind. So hard to laugh a childlike giggle when the tears start to torture my mind. So hard to shed the life of before, to let my soul automatically soar, but I hit hard at the battle that's confronting me. Yeah, knocked down all the roadblocks are stopping me. Throw off all the shackles that are binding me down. Long promised road, trail starts at dawn, carries on to the season's ending. Long promised road, close to the source, gentle force, never ending, never ending. So hard to lift the jeweled scepter when the weight turns a smile to a frown. So hard to drink of passion nectar when the taste of life's holding me down. So hard to plant the seed of reform, to set my sights on defeating the storm. So I